Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
All right, welcome into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. This is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. My name is Booner, joined as always Matthew Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter. Jaylen in the booth as always, and we've got Nick in the sound booth. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Make sure you guys tell a friend about the show. We're going here. Long week ahead, I feel like, fellas. So we're going to stick through it. Obviously, this Detroit Lions game versus the Baltimore Ravens did not go as expected. But it was a weird game. I don't think it was anything. It's not Victory Monday.
No, it's not.
It's Loser Monday at the end of the day. When we lost the Seahawks, we had a whole week, a loser week, and we learned how to be a loser. But I still think, Broder, let's just get this out of the way real quick.
Get out of the way.
The team, the coaches, all these, it was on everyone. This wasn't like a Jared Goff. I keep seeing Will Harris. I keep seeing all these random people. This loss, this 38-6.
Yep.
Wasn't on anyone specifically. This was every single person on this football team. Dan Campbell, from the top, Dan Campbell, all the way down to the long snapper. Who's that long snapper again that you keep saying is the best in the NFL?
Now that's horrible.
Scott.
Yeah, Scott.
Daly,
D-A-L-Y. You're
Scott
right.
Daly. All right. No, you're good. But this is the one thing I want to take from this game real quick. I usually you have them. You throw them out to me all the time.
I know. That's my bad. I just wasn't thinking you were going towards long snapper. 802,
I was just going
baby.
from the top all the way down.
Yeah, seriously, tops.
I went to the bottom there. But, Broder, to me, this wasn't just on one single person. This was everyone. This isn't as well as I want it. I want this. We're going to talk about this throughout the whole show. I don't want this to be this is an SOL loss. I don't want this to be a poor Lions. Nothing like that. I have the full confidence in the world that Dan Campbell and that coaching staff kind of turns things around. Oh, yeah. And they know how to take this team and put them back on the railroad tracks and get that train back on tracks and keep the thing moving forward. So I understand this was like kind of a scary loss. I'm not going into this week being like, oh, the Lions are in trouble. They're done. Their season's over. No, because I've seen a lot of people talking about that this week. It didn't bug me. It was kind of like after the Seahawks game.
Yeah.
I saw the same people come out. It's the same people every time. They're like little turtles in their shell. And when the Detroit Lions lose or have something bad like this happen to them, they pop out.
Start busting out the shell.
And then they'll go back, and when the Lions go on another 4-game win streak. So, Broder, how are you feeling about this? Before we do Monday Night Football picks, I just want your initial
it's feeling. It was frustrating. The Lions don't suck, but they sucked yesterday. Like, it was from top to bottom. They played poorly. I know you don't want – I don't believe in moral losses, but there are things – getting your butt whooped this early, there are things you can take from it. You get it out of the way.
Yep.
You learn from it. You learn from a game planning perspective, from getting the players ready for the game perspective. Maybe it's not all X's and O's, but it's just what did they do wrong this past week? They looked like what I expected the Ravens to look like coming back from England. And I know Dan Campbell said in his post-game press conference he thought the energy was good out there. To be honest, I didn't feel that. Like, I thought they lacked energy from the very start. I thought Lamar ran all over them. Lamar passed all over them. They just didn't seem ready for that game, and that was the frustrating part, the disappointing part to me. But it was the Ravens. I have high hopes for the Ravens to go deep into the playoffs. So we'll see where the Lions come back from this one. This is where we learn a lot from a team after a loss like this, an embarrassing, disappointing loss with the entire nation almost on their side.
Yeah, which is, to me, it's all right. This was, and I said it on the heavyweights before we kind of came into this, and we're going to talk. We have about 4 or 5 segments on the Detroit Lions, this game, breaking it down, kind of moving forward, where we should go from here. I looked at this, Broder, this is like a welcome to the being a contender kind of game. I know you got blown out and you lost, but hey, if you want to be a contender in this league, you have to come every single week.
Yeah.
And you can't have that. Like the Seahawks game, you were in the game, you almost won the game. This, you have to figure out a way to win on the road. You have to figure out a way. Goff has to figure out a way to play if it's windy, if it's cold, no matter what it is. Defense has to find a way to where if you give up, 14-0 points like that and you're like Swiss cheese and you just have holes all over that defense, have to find a way to adjust and get it done. So I think this was one of those things to where, hey, and you know what actually gives me more confidence too, Broder?
What?
Last year happened, right? Dallas, Patriots, Carolina 3 times.
Yeah.
And I know you didn't really like that happened after the Patriots game. It happened again in Carolina. After Carolina, it didn't happen all the way until now. That was a long stretch, almost a 16-game stretch, right? Like maybe 15, maybe a little less, but that was a huge stretch that nothing like this happened. If you could find a way to take this and turn it into something positive to where this will never happen again. We're going to be in, whether we lose a game, but we're going to be in that game and have a chance to win. So I'm taking not positives from this game, but I'm not going to sit here and say, this is, and that's the end of the world for the Detroit Lions. We all had them. Every one of us had them losing at least 4 games this year.
Yeah, although I picked them to beat the Ravens. I had them losing to the Ravens before the season, and I got to live with that. But there's a reason I had them losing to the Ravens. The Ravens are a good team, and I think they played their best game of the year against the Lions on Sunday. And I did, to sort of feed into what you were saying, I tweeted out last night after the game, Lions have responded to tough losses under Dan Campbell and will need to do the same here last year. So they had 3 straight wins after they lost to Buffalo on Thanksgiving. 2 straight wins after the loss to Carolina. Actually 3 if you count Kansas City to start this year. And then 4 straight wins right after losing to Seahawks in week 2. So they're starting to build a reputation, at least in my head, that they can come back from one of these tough losses and win a couple straight. So I want to see them do it again. The schedule's there for them to do it.
It is. And we're going to get into everything here with the game. We're going to break down the game a little bit. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about playoff hopes, the coaches. We're going to talk about everything today. I'm going to go over the breakdown here, and then we'll give out our Monday Night Football picks before the game starts here. I do have a little parlay for the people here so they can throw it on. Maybe I should do that quick. Are they about to start here?
You got 8 minutes. You got till the end of this segment.
You got time.
Okay. Although if people want to place you take some time. Maybe you
minutes.
do.
I'll go through. I'll tell you guys what we have in store for the day, and then I'll go right into the parlay.
Just make sure not to give Elgato any more bad picks. Right, Elgato?
Elgato, did he take one of my picks?
I have no idea, but he said, tell Booner to stop giving me bad picks.
Elgato, if you've watched the pregame, if you watched every show I've done so far in the last 2 weeks, I think I've hit almost. Nick's been in the pregame show, I gave out
fire, brother. We've been cashing.
We've been cashing. Everything I've been giving out has been hitting. Last week, I gave out Amon-Ra St. Brown, everything hit. On Sunday, I gave out everything Sam Laporta hit. I said, do Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown instead of Laporta touchdown. That hit. Everything. Michigan, I gave out on the stream. I gave out a play for everyone to play. Hit.
As a show, I think we have the best betting as a show.
100%.
Oh, no
as a whole group, I think we're
I will say though,
not Broder.
I never
Plus,
lost.
we get Broder's knowledge.
I will say Neil Rule has his get right, and that get right, I'll say it 100 times when Neil comes out. Neil get right, that's a different level. I'll keep that Neil, and then everyone else, because Neil's get right's like an 80%. And it's one of the craziest things. All right, rundown, boys.
Rundown.
8:15, right after the break here, we're going to go into the Detroit Lions game breakdown. 8:30, we're going to talk about, we haven't talked about this yet, Broder. I slipped it in there. I talked about
just the tip?
Yes, just the tip. I slipped it in there at 8:30. We haven't done it since the Monday after the Seahawks game, the state of the Detroit Lions. 8:45, we're going to talk about the trade deadline. Are injuries catching up to the Lions? Do they need to go out there and make a move?
Yes.
So that's going to be at 8:45. 9 o'clock, Overreaction Monday, Detroit Lions and NFL edition. 9:15, the Detroit Red Wings. We're going to have a Detroit Red Wings segment at 9:15.
Hey,
9:30, we're going to talk about Jared Goff. And 9:40, we're going to talk about this Detroit Lions coaching staff. So we are packed. Let's go over our picks, though. Monday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
49ers, 7-point favorites over the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. I'll let you guys do your picks first, and then I'll do mine, and then I'll give the parlay out. Broder, what do you think? Who wins this game?
I think there is a 100% chance that the 49ers win this game. I know Debo's out. McCaffrey's questionable. 49ers still going to Minnesota and beat the Vikings. How about Nick?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like the 49ers to cover this as well on a get-right game after picking up their first L. I know Booner usually leads home dogs that are a big number. Well, we'll see where Booner goes with this one in a second. But, yeah, I'm going 49ers.
Jaylen, where do you want?
I'm gonna go with Niners minus 4.5. Ayuk and Kittle touchdown. Take them straight. Take them in a 2-leg.
I like that.
2 legs, baby.
Yeah, wide open.
I got Kittle and McCaffrey going in fantasy tonight.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. And, just those 2. But I already have it locked up against Braylon. It's nice going into Monday night having the game already won.
My fantasy was atrocious this week. I'm kind of over our Woodward league, to be honest.
Oh, you're a quitter.
I am.
Quitter. Fantasy, if you don't play for money, everyone quits halfway through. I'm going to take this to the house. I'm going to take this to the house.
I'll still play, though. I'm not going to, not do my lineup or anything. I'm still going to try. I'm sure the playoffs, it's like some of these leagues, the playoffs, 12 out of the 14 teams make it. And it's like, what are we doing here?
True.
All right, I'm going to do my pick. So I do have the 49ers. The spread is 7. I'm going to take 49ers minus 7. Nick, I know I talk about the home underdogs. 49ers are just that much better than remember the Vikings last week versus the Bears?
Yeah. I like Niners here as well.
Yeah, me as well. I like the 49ers minus 7. Next thing here, I do have my parlay. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Brandon Ayuk, and if any boys want to get on this, I got it on with a couple other people. Brandon Ayuk, 50 yards. TJ Hawkinson, 40 yards. Shout out tight ends day. Well, it's yesterday. 49ers money line. Christian McCaffrey, touchdown.
Yeah, baby.
He'll break the record today. Christian McCaffrey, 40 rushing yards. Jordan Addison, 25 yards. That is 6 legs, easy legs, at plus 446. Cash it. It's easy.
Straight cash.
A lot of legs, but...
it is, but they're low. They're low legs.
It's like a sugary red wine. Lots of legs.
I did take Brandon Ayuk, his yards, and I took George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson for tight end day. Took both of them to score touchdowns separately.
The day after?
Yeah, it is the day after. But George Kittle, I
like that pick regardless.
He's going to eat. TJ Hawkinson's going to eat.
TJ Hawkins.
This is a tight ends game. It's a tight ends game. And Brandon Ayuk's going to eat tonight, too.
All right. Hey.
Shout out.
I'll rock with it.
Shout out.
Do you hear Kevin Byard just got traded to the Eagles? Did I pronounce that right? Byard or Baird? Byard?
Is it Baird?
I'm picturing a Y there after the B, but one of the top safeties in the league from the Tennessee Titans goes to Philly, makes that defense even stronger. They needed some secondary help.
They did, but dude, Philly just keeps. I don't know. We're going to talk a little trade talk later in the show.
Yeah,
but oh no, you're good. I just don't get how Philly just keeps adding these dudes. It's unbelievable.
Howie Roseman got that magic touch.
He does such a good job. I want. When we talk about this, I'll mention it. I want Brad Holmes to. He needs to do something.
Yeah,
you're at that point now. Yes. Welcome to being a contender and staying a contender. Make a move. Am I wrong?
No.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
Make a move.
Let's talk here real quick. Michigan.
We're
not going to talk about all the investigation stuff. Kind of over that. We'll move on from that.
Well, we can talk about that when there's actual proof.
When there's something that, I'm just tired of hearing all these articles coming out and these random things. It's just all right, let's just play football. I like football.
Interesting that JJ moves into the top of the Heisman race from number plus from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
We'll maybe bring that up. We'll maybe talk about that sometime this week. I don't know if he's number 1, but he's up there.
He's not. He might not be in the lead, but for the rest of the season, he has the Penn State game. He has the Ohio State game.
Yes.
If he just goes out there and takes care of business. He wins the Heisman.
100%.
That's all it comes down to.
100%, man.
Go out there, throw for 300 yards, throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns, win the Heisman. I put a bet on it.
Bet it, dude.
Big bet.
Big one.
Like to win $600 or $700.
Come on.
Let's go.
I had it plus 1,000 before the game. I think I was sitting there. I did it actually, and it moved all the way to plus whatever it is, 190 now.
Yeah, I wish I would have hopped on that.
It moved literally at the end of the game within 2 hours. It went from a plus 1,000 all the way to plus 190.
Yeah.
So I'm on that one.
Tough weekend for Michigan State. It was a 49-0 loss. And
the only thing they're worried about is Michigan's investigation.
Yeah,
they're all trying to be lawyers right now.
Unfortunately, the 49-0 loss was not the most embarrassing thing to happen at their stadium on Saturday.
Oh my God!
See the Hitler stuff. What idiots! And not Michigan State people. Just an idiotic move from the staff, the team, the third party source. I'm not taking a shot at Michigan State, but man, they're having a tough year. 2023 is not going well for our Spartans, the state of Michigan's Spartans. There was a point Neil made in Big D Energy today. So Michigan State's nearing the point of becoming the Indiana football of the Big Ten, to become irrelevant forever. That's a hot take, but it's the way the football landscape, college football landscape, is changing. It's sort of true. They need to make a big coaching hire soon.
They do. I am a little nervous they do go get Urban Meyer, because if you get Urban Meyer, to me, it's like within the next couple of years you're going to win. Did you see like Urban Meyer, every single place he's been, they've turned around in 1 year.
Yeah, they should get him.
So if they get him, it'll be good for the Big Ten. It'll be good for Michigan State.
Hell yeah.
I don't like that, though, for Michigan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Michigan fans, we should be scared. If they get Urban Meyer, they can turn around that program very quickly. I don't like Urban Meyer. I think he's a scumbag, but he would be good for Michigan State. Like, what else do they have to worry about?
He said it twice in like 2 minutes, man. Broder means that.
What? Urban's a scumbag?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a scumbag. Yeah, but he wins, and he's an incredible football coach.
Well-known scumbag.
Yeah, big-time scumbag.
100%.
Gotta be. Yeah, Urban.
Was that easy?
Pro all day.
Gotta be.
That threw me off. I thought Easy was like on the phone or something.
No, he's in the chat talking about Jared Goff, trying to...
Shout out. We have a Jared Goff segment later.
Yeah,
come back.
He's been waiting. He was just in his room after, just with some lotion and tissues, just, Jared Goff played so bad.
Oh my God, yo.
940 Easy. 940 Easy. We will come back. Jared Goff talk. Maybe call in.
We call it Goff Talk.
That would actually Goff talk. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Dirk and Goff.
All right, let's go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to break down the game, Detroit Lions versus Baltimore Ravens. I will start us off here and tell you guys about Lady Jane's, though. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Make sure to register to win a trip of your dreams. All expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
And then Les Stanford, what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford is doing by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They got the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. They're located on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile, or you can check them out, their flagship location in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
One sec, Nick, real quick there.
We are back. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys tuning in. A lot of people in the chat today. Jack Harrington, William, Dander Swag, Easy. Hollywood's in the chat today. Ryan Hamilton. We've got a packed crew. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't already.
Can you hang on real quick, Booner? I was muted during that read, so to thank our wonderful sponsors, let's do this again real quick. Do you think you could run that Bullseye ad again?
Of course so.
My guy. So Bullseye, join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live Monday, October 30th. Doors open at 5:15 p.m., I believe, for Monday Night Football. It's going to be an awesome time. It's going to be a blast, they say. It's the official Lions tailgate. Come join your friends at Woodward Sports. We got food, drinks, entertainment, all included. Just head to bullseyeeventgroup.com to get your tickets. Thank you, bullseyeeventgroup.com. All right, now we
are back.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
There we go.
Smash that like button if you guys haven't already. Tell a friend about the show. Share everything. I see there's some fighting going on in the chat, which I'd love to see.
I love a little beef.
I do. I did start that morning show beef a little bit, and I like to be like the Joker. I like that. I like the Joker. That's a good one. All right, let's get into it here, though, real quick. We're going to break down this game a little bit, Broder. Want to get your feelings. I have a few things to talk about. In this segment, I don't really want to talk about, the future because next we're going to talk about the state of the Detroit Lions. Really, I just want to take... It's like one of those things where let's just talk about this game when we're done talking about it. Let's move on and not talk about that game ever again.
100%.
That's how I feel about it. My initial thought with this, too, do you remember... I think it might have been 2 seasons ago, or it was the beginning of last year. Dan Campbell came out and said that they buried the tape of a game, and they literally he was on part of my take, and he literally said that he told them we literally dug a hole in Allen Park outside the facility. We put tape in there. We literally got the tape and we buried it in the ground. So that's kind of where I'm at with this, and I do understand there's a lot of things you probably want to take away from this and kind of look at this. Hey, what do we need to do different? How do we not do this again? But it is one of those games that felt like, Broder, to me, where it was like, let's just bury this. Let's do this. Rex Ryan did it a couple years ago. Someone gave the analogy how Rex Ryan did. I think it was Braylon actually said that today. Rex Ryan did the same thing.
Interesting.
And it's just one of those things where, hey, that sucked. That was terrible. Let's move on.
Fumble McCaffrey?
So what are your thoughts on that, bro?
I'm with you. I've never been a believer in burning the tape, although I get it. I understand it for sure. I just think you do have to learn from your mistakes, even if you look stupid out there, even if you're blatantly getting beat one-on-one by your man. There were so many miscommunications. It just needs to be seen. It's a visual thing. I truly believe in that, but I think this is one you just got to tip your cat to Lamar Jackson. I mean, he was a powerhouse, mitochondria, and we must pay homage to him. Lamar Jackson played incredibly. Baltimore's coaching staff outcoached Detroit's coaching staff, both as a whole and then also Mike McDonald versus Ben Johnson and Todd Monken versus Aaron Glenn. It wasn't even close from the beginning.
No, and you know what I really liked about this after the game, too? And it was actually today. I put a video in from Jaylen. I threw a video in there. Dan Campbell came out this morning, or it was actually the afternoon, and he basically took all of the blame for this. He came out and did it. It was similar to what he did in Seattle, except this was kind of Dan Campbell on steroids taking the blame. In this clip right here makes me feel like this is where, when I went on the heavyweights earlier, where I feel like this team is still a contender because Dan Campbell's at the helm, and he knows what it's about to kind of turn things around. He's been in the league so long. He's been in New Orleans where they've won a lot, and this is Dan Campbell talking about yesterday's game and where he went wrong.
Good job of getting them ready. I did not. And it'd be one thing if there was just a couple of guys here or there, but ultimately it was that I didn't have them ready, and I've got to do a much better job of getting them prepared, which I will this week. We'll be ready for the Raiders, but we just certainly didn't play. They did everything right over there, and we did everything wrong. The other thing I would say is, as good as they played on that side, which they earned that win, we certainly helped them and served it up on a platter for them. I kind of came out of that game last night saying, man, Lamar single-handed, and it was not the case. We took that shotgun right to the foot a number of times. So
I love the response from Dan Campbell. There's multiple things within that response, and even after that, he went on to talk about. I saw someone in the chat someone in the chat said we didn't take. It was because we didn't go hard all week, and he even mentioned that. He said maybe it was something like part of that as well. And I think Dan Campbell knows it. And the best part about that whole conversation that he had there was shooting yourself in the foot with a shotgun. He knows that. And like you said, you give kudos to Lamar Jackson, but when you're just not playing great defense and your guys aren't playing and the schemes you had aren't good, and Aaron Glenn, he said it earlier in the press conference, Aaron Glenn probably wishes he had some play calls back. And when guys aren't in the right positions and you're not setting guys up for success, it's all on you at the end of the day. you're the reason, like, you're down 28-0 at one point. That is, at the end of the day, probably coaching to a point. And Dan noticed that. He knows, like, hey, this isn't just, as people are saying, Will Harris or Jared Goff or this guy. This was like a team situation to where they need to figure it out. And the best part about all of this is, especially with Dan Campbell, just like he said, is it's something that can be fixed.
Yes.
Like last year, it happened 3 times, and it was like, I don't know if you can fix this. Who knows if you have the personnel to fix this? And they eventually found a way to kind of win games. This loss is something I feel like can get fixed. Mm-hmm. That's why I still think this Detroit Lions team is a contender. And then as well, to the point real quick before I go to you, Broder, the practicing hard and that thing, Dan Campbell did say, he felt like it was a good kind of time to take a step back and not go as hard, but he did feel like in that kind of walkthrough that they still should have gone full speed at points because it's such a physical team, and they got out physicaled for sure in that Ravens game.
Yeah, he's learning. You love to see him admit that too. When he's wrong, when he had the wrong plan for the week to get these guys healthy after a tough game against the Buccaneers. Robert Fournier in the chat said something I agree with. Lions played soft like they did for Seattle this year and the Panthers last year. They didn't have any intensity.
Yeah,
like that's it to me. Their defense, they were reactionary all day. They weren't the aggressors. They didn't have that energy. They chose to react to Lamar Jackson and try to take everybody else out. And I haven't broken down the whole game yet, but there was a lot of times where that nickel position, sometimes Jack Campbell, that they had a guy almost in a spy for Lamar Jackson. He's so quick. He's so fast. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I would have just brought that much more pressure, that much more intensity. But as we see, there wasn't much help alongside Aiden
Do you know
Hutchinson.
What confuses me?
What?
I've always been told, and I'm slowly learning different things. Like, I played football forever, but as you get higher levels and stuff, there's so many different more concepts and different things, and you can always keep learning, especially in our position. I was told last year Aaron Glenn isn't a guy that likes to spy on a quarterback. And it seemed like yesterday that was all there was, and that killed it. It's like I don't know. I could be wrong, and someone correct me in the chat, or Broder, you like. It's either you commit to it or you don't, and if you have a defense surrounding that, am I wrong on that?
No.
Because it felt like Jack Campbell, there was a lot of times where you almost had that pressure, and Jack Campbell was just standing there making sure he didn't go. And it was like, hey, maybe if Jack Campbell was going at him, it would have changed a little. It would have made a little bit of a difference because you were right there every time.
You can do it, or it's more effective if your defensive line, the 3 or 4 guys that you have rushing the quarterback, are getting pressure consistently, where that spy can react to the first move. You push Lamar to one direction or up the middle, they can just go. But they weren't doing that. And I know there's a lot of talk in the chat, and there's been a lot of talk all day about Will Harris, about the defensive backs, and we'll get to Will Harris specifically, but the defensive backs, although it seemed like the wide receivers were, the Baltimore wide receivers were wide open or within 5 or 6 yards every time they caught the ball, a lot of that blame goes to the defensive line, just not being able to get to Lamar. That one touchdown to Aguilar.
Do you know what it felt like to me?
What?
I keep using this analogy. I think I might have said it on stream. The first 2 weeks when we all were just talking about how much pressure they were getting, but they could not sack Patrick Mahomes or Geno Smith. The only sack in those 2 weeks was Alex Anzalone, that big one. At the end of the game, it was a big sack, but it was all game. You could not contain, and you could not sack Patrick Mahomes or Geno Smith. Yeah. And you just kept getting there, and they kept finding a way. And maybe that's something that needs to get figured out within Aaron Glenn's defense, because that's the 3rd time this year where that's happened, and you lost 2 out of the 3 games.
Yeah.
To where you keep getting these pressures, but you're not finishing. Why is that? And especially with other games, you're getting to the quarterback and you're
the NFL's best teams, they get blown out. They get beat, sometimes blown out by trash teams every year. It seems like Lions fans, everyone in Detroit media, Lions fans are in a new place where they need to get used, or we need to learn how to lose. Like, we're a good team now. The Lions are a good team. There are going to be losses. How do we react to that? Like, this schedule in front of us, the question shouldn't be, are the Lions contenders? Because if they aren't contenders, it's an absolute historic failure on the season if they can't make it to the play. If they something bad happens, they're going to make it to the playoffs. They should win the NFC North. I think they're going to. It would be a travesty if they didn't.
Oh, my gosh.
The question is, can they beat the best teams in the NFL on the road, in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl? Like, we haven't proven that yet. Well, we proved a little bit against the Kansas City Chiefs, but you need to prove it more. Like we need to see more out of this team to have that confidence that they can make a run.
And with that, when we come back, we're going to actually talk about that in the state of the Detroit Lions. We're going to get into that, kind of where they're at. Are they still contenders? I got asked a question on the heavyweights. Are they contenders or pretenders? And they're still going to be in the playoffs, but they're just pretenders. So that's, I think, a good question. But we're going to go over the state of the Detroit Lions. Where are we at? I remember I had this conversation with a lot of people after the Seahawks loss. And a lot of people look stupid for 4 weeks after that. So I'm excited to have that conversation again. Let me tell you guys about Big Boy, though, real quick. Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try the new best cheeseburger on the planet, or our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. If you want some chicken, the Dolly chicken sandwich, to turn up the heat with the Bob's hot chicken sandwich. And if you want some fries with it, upgrade those babies. Chili cheese fries, loaded baked potatoes fries. And if you want some dessert, they have the Big Boy's Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. That thing sounds great. Or satisfy your sweet tooth with the Big Boy's funnel cake fries over at Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
5 Iron Golf, downtown's newest sports bar, has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. You have the chance to compete nationwide for a trip to the Dominican Republic. Just bring a foursome or sign up as an individual to get placed on a team. You got to do it, though, at 5irongolf.com. But when you do, use code Woodward10 for 30% off the league. Again, that's 5iron.com/golf. Nope, excuse me. Let's start that over. 5irongolf.com to sign up.
God, there we go. You got it, bro. I know, it's good. It's a Monday. It's a loser Monday, not a victory Monday. You just dropped the pen as well. That's usually my extra pen, though. When I need one, I ask you. All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Look at that. The Paul Bunyan stays in Ann Arbor. It's staying in Ann Arbor. We appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Tell a friend about the show if you haven't already. We're growing this thing, baby. It's like we're the Lions organization right now. We're building something special.
Woodward here. Viagra, growing, baby.
What he said. I've never tried Viagra.
In the nighttime.
In the nighttime.
Give it about 50 years.
All right, fair. All right, hey, let's get into it, fellas. I want to do something. Can we do a poll real quick with this next segment? So this segment is the state of the Detroit Lions. Jaylen, can we do a poll that's just, are the Detroit Lions still contenders, and just yes or no? Because this is I think where the state of the Detroit Lions is, because the last few weeks all of the conversations were, hey, are we contenders? I was up here, we put reels out of me, you, Broder, everyone at the network. I feel like being like, hey, this is a Super Bowl team.
Too real.
And this is too real. This is a Super Bowl football team. They're going to be a legit team. Everyone in the nation was doing this, and then they go out there and lose on the road, and it wasn't just a normal loss. It wasn't like, hey, you just went out there, one possession game. It was a blowout.
As Terry Foster would say, a mollywop.
And I don't know how you guys all felt watching this game. I was very embarrassed, especially after all of the things saying like, oh, they're going to win this, like that chance to go to the Super Bowl. I was embarrassed. But Broder, I'm gonna sit up here and I'm gonna kind of double down on all of this. I said it on the heavyweights, and I'm going to double down what I talked about last week. Is yes, the Detroit Lions are still contenders. This team, and Detroit fans should not give up on this football team.
No.
This is still a football team that has a ton of potential. If they go out and get pieces, if they add one or two maybe pieces in the trade deadline, this is a team with potential, Broder, that could still go to the playoffs. And I said it earlier, if you can get to the second round of the playoffs, you have a chance to go to the Super Bowl and win that thing. I don't care who you're playing against. I don't care anything. The Sunday sucked. But Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Jared Goff, all these guys are going to go out there and they know what they have to work on. They're going to completely turn this thing around, I feel like. And they have an easy schedule. So all of you SOL people, that was an SOL game. That's the worst part about some of these losses is the SOL crowd that comes out. It's the worst. I hate it.
Well, so we still got to get past that. We got to work that out of everybody's systems because I do believe this team's for real. It doesn't mean that the team is finished, that roster is finished. I believe they need to make a move. I haven't had my final decision of like big player, what position, how do we do it, but I think they do need to add something. These injuries are starting to catch up, blah, blah, blah. Baltimore is a good team. We lost to a very good team, but what's in front of them is a chance to get this, to right the ship, to get the team right heading into the playoffs. They can't lose focus and lose to the Bears, lose to the Packers, the Vikings, but you're right. If they get to the playoffs, if they get the first round win, A, that's already a huge accomplishment for a Detroit Lions franchise, but B, you can beat anybody in the playoffs. I don't
100%.
care what they say about Jared Goff's arm in bad weather. They went into Lambeau at the end of last season and stuck it to the Packers. No, he might be a worse quarterback than he is in a dome, but this team, it's built on resilience. That's what's gotten them to this point so far, both in game, like both Jared Goff throws an interception, come back the next play, throws a touchdown, or just the team in general coming back from a loss. They've done this before. This one does hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Bad because of the score.
Ugly, and we were never in it.
It was more so just, I think, just embarrassing, just with the way it went down. Yeah. Like if we lost that game and it was, say it's a one or even a 2-possession game and you have a chance to go get a touchdown, onside kick for another, I think that feels a lot better. But the way it happened, it was embarrassing. The response, I'm going to keep going back to this for all those SOL people. The response from Dan Campbell is what changes this thing and what makes this whole thing different. The response from your leader and from the organization from the top down, that is, to me, what makes me feel good about this. And I told Easy and Spencer that you can they're going to be in the playoffs. If you have a home game versus the Eagles, I'm not going to sit there and say the Lions have zero chance. They still have a chance to go win that football game. That's not what it is. A pretender is a team like the Cowboys who have lost in the first round for the last 8 years. That's a pretender. The Lions team will beat the Cowboys still at home. So that's where I'm at with this. Where you have Dan Campbell who's he's gonna take this on the shoulders. He already did. He took it straight to the head, and he was like, "Hey, that was on me. Didn't have him ready." This thing gets turned around really quick, I feel like. And I'm not gonna lie, I hope this spread is -9.5 versus the Raiders, and I'm going to hammer that. I might do alternate spread -14, -16. I think they go out and win 20 points in Ford Field, and I think it's like a statement game. Like, listen, I know this because you can't. Raiders are bad. Like, it's not a team that you're going to be able to
they're not playing
show
well
anything.
Either.
But if you go out there and beat them by 3 or 4 touchdowns, that's where you kind of prove hey, we're still here. By the way,
I would hate to be the Raiders coming in at Monday night after what happened to the Lions this past week, going into Ford Field. I know this fan base, despite some of the negativity today, I know they're going to come and show out, and that place is going to be rocking. But yeah, they got to prove it. It's this happened at a good time. If there's ever a good time to come with a loss, we get an extra day to prepare for the Raiders, and we have the trade deadline actually real quick on Halloween the 31st, and then another week to prepare for the Chargers out west. So. It's coming at a good time. The way you earn through the pain is you win, Doe.
We're going to absolutely delete the Raiders, no doubt, on Monday Night Football. But I want to look back for a second. Broder, Jared Goff looked like a trash quarterback in that game against the Ravens. And you go back to that Packer game last year, and you said he can do it. He didn't have any touchdowns in this game. And I remember a lot of the throws looked very similar to, and they looked like change-ups, and they're kind of dying at the ground and not really giving your wide receivers opportunities to make plays on the ball. I don't trust Jared Goff personally right now in those type of games.
That's totally fair.
And until he proves us wrong that he can go out and throw for 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns on the road in those kind of games, he hasn't been able to do it. And that's our Achilles heel right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a big question as well. That's one of the questions we're hearing a lot. We are talking Jared Goff, and easy for in the chat, 9:40, Jared Goff. Make sure you come back to the chat before you. If you leave, come back at 9:40 because you're talking a lot in there. Make sure you come back. Come back. But I just think like yesterday, it just felt like it was like, hey, welcome to being a contender. That's how I look at, like, you're going to have those games, but that was a wake-up call. Like, hey, welcome to being part of the NFL. You're taking that turn to being a real team in the NFL, being a real organization. That's a team that you're supposed to go compete with. Welcome to it. Next time, you better come prepared with a game like this, because you can't have those if you're supposed to be a contender.
Booner, check out the chat. You have a fan club starting.
Fan club.
See that blue? See that blue? Nobody.
Oh, nobody! Shout out!
Let's go, baby!
Shout out!
Let's go!
Hey, thanks for the donation, nobody. It's so saying nobody's name.
It is funny. I love reading nobody's comments.
You had something to say after Nick, Jaylen?
Yeah, Nick just lit off on Goff there, man. But to my defense, though, like, let's be honest here, and this may be a hot take. The Ravens were always a better team, the last few years or so. So us going in there, I didn't think we were going to win that game. You know what I mean? But I think, like, Lamar Jackson showed us, what a contender is. He's always had great teams. But for me, it's like we need that reality check. We had it against the Seahawks. Then we won like 3 straight, was it? Was it 3 straight games or 4 straight? Four. We need these games because, come 8 weeks from now, we'll be good to go for the playoffs, if we make it, hopefully, and things like that. But for everyone that's, down on the Lions and stuff like that, we weren't supposed to win this game. You forget who, John Harbaugh is, and you forget who Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews and those guys. Like, it was never a case where we were going to just come in there and just, take over Baltimore. So with that happening, I'm happy for it because we need those games to get better, down the line.
What did you say to me before, Jaylen? You said, remember Nick's stat?
Yeah.
They're 15. Lamar Jackson's 15-1 versus the NFC, and especially as well is you're not playing them at Ford Field. Ford Field might be a little different. You almost beat them and made it 15-2 versus the NFC. You're on the road. You went to Baltimore and they've only lost one. Lamar's lost one game versus the NFC. You're on the road. Like, it was a wake-up call. You got hit in the face. You got punched in the you-know-what. And you got shown that, hey, if you want to be a contender, welcome to the NFL. This is what it's like. They got punched, and you just got to turn around.
I think Cutie has a good point in the chat. It says John Harbaugh obviously stole the Lions signs. I mean, clearly.
That's actually what happened.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I do got...
I'm going to tell you guys middle adder here.
I'm going to remember what I have to say.
Remember that.
Come back to me like Kim.
Make sure you guys tune in for all the insider scoop on your Detroit Lions. It is Woodward and Main show featuring Gabrielle DeFil. It's Matt Broder, our own, and Detroit legend Terry Foster. That will be tomorrow, I believe, from 7 to 8 a.m. And next week, actually, will not be Sunday. It will be Monday and Tuesday next week. 7 to 8 a.m. both days because of Monday Night Football. So they will be going Monday morning instead of Sunday. Make sure you guys tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for those shows. All of the insider information you need.
Yes.
Check it out.
Broder, what was that?
I just got to give some quick props to the Todd Monk and the OC for the Baltimore Ravens. The first, what was it? How many games did they play before this? The first 6 games that the Ravens played, they didn't feel like the Ravens that we're used to. The offense seemed a little out of whack. They weren't scoring in the red zone. Even in London, Justin Tucker had he had 6 field goals, all their points out in London. It didn't feel right, but you could see them. They were committed to Lamar Jackson staying in the pocket, getting comfortable with his receivers. There were drops earlier in the year. They seemed like they didn't have it, but they stayed consistent, and we saw how comfortable Lamar Jackson. He had time. The receivers played well. That offense can be elite, and Lamar is a good thrower. He's not bad. He's not an elite thrower, but he is a good throwing quarterback, especially when you consider the weapon of his legs.
Dan did mention as well too. It's like he was like at first he was going to go give Lamar some credit, which he deserves the credit. That might be one of his best games of his career.
Could be near perfect, like Wild West said.
Like Dan said, a guy like that is going to have a game like that if you hand everything to him on a silver platter. If you hand everything to a guy, a former MVP in the NFL, and you do everything possible and let him do whatever he wants, he's going to have a game like that. Yeah. And that's exactly what this defense did. Is they said, here you go. We're gonna put pressure on you, but we're going to let you get away, and we're going to give you 10 seconds to throw to your receivers and let anyone get open. And that's what happened. That is exactly what happened.
Is that a question? I'm in the chat, talking to Tyler and stuff like that. This is a quick question for the whole panel, stuff like that. Do you guys feel that the Seahawks game was a reality check? Because I do, because I feel like we lost to them last year by a touchdown. You know what I mean? And our team was not as good as they were last year. And I feel like going into that game, we were supposed to, show them that we have a much better team this year. And but the same thing happened as last year. So, do you think that and, the Ravens game were, both the same? Or do you think one was more, gut-wrenching than the other one?
I think the Ravens was more
gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I think that was more of a reality check hit to the nuts, or kick in the nuts, a shot in the foot. That one definitely was. I did think the Seahawks game was a wake-up call for. I think it was more of a wake-up call, and I think this one was
they were different.
Shot, a punch, hey,
a shotgun to the foot.
Yeah, Dan Campbell said, a shotgun to the foot. Because Seattle, you were in the game. It was just the defense gave up so many points. It was a wake-up call for the defense. This was full team, hey, do you guys want to win a Super Bowl? If you do, you better wake up now.
Yeah,
or you're not going to.
They were different types of wake-up calls, different types of reality checks. The Seattle game to me is overconfidence. It was all the hype leading into the season, the face mask, we're just beating the Chiefs Thursday night the week before. It was just a little much, but they did a lot of really good things in that game. They almost won the game. They may have won it if they won the overtime toss, but this Ravens game, there's really nothing they did well. From start to finish.
On that note, I think the Ravens one is going to end up being the bigger wake-up call because they know
better be.
And I'm gonna predict right now that the Lions are gonna win their next 4 games before going into
I think
the
they go on a streak,
and to get to I think 9-2 it is. Yep. So
I'm with Nick
saying that right now.
Every time they've lost, last year, Panthers went on a little streak. Seahawks went on a little streak. I do think that this comes together and you learn from it. And just that little thing in Dan's eye in the press conference, you can tell, he said it at the end. He was I'm a very competitive person. A loss like this, I'm ready to come back and I'm mad. He was basically, I'm pissed off and we're going to go. He was I know every single player on this team is the same way. So that's where I'm yep, this team, Raiders about to lose, Bears, Packers again, I think, or Chargers.
Yep.
And you have a bye week coming up, so guys are going to get healthy.
They're going to come back. I'd also recommend you guys come back. We're going to be talking about these injuries. Are they catching up with the Lions? And what does Brad Holmes need to do at the deadline? What do you guys think? But come on back. Before then, we're going to tell you Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. They are the first ever cannabis mall of its kind, and it's conveniently located off of Van Dyke Road and 23 Mile Road in Romeo. That Dispo Romeo location is now open late till 12 p.m. every night but Sunday. Can it get any better than that? I do not think so. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
How would you like to win a 100K Vegas getaway? You want to take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps? It's the Syntron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and win. Register at drinksyntron.com/Vegas and buy Syntron at your local Meijer store. Syntron is the healthier energy drink with great taste. So why don't you look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Syntron. drinksyntron.com/Vegas.
Vegas, baby. Lions, baby. Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Hit that like button. Tell a friend about the show. Let's keep building this thing up. Real quick, Jake Moody just missed another kick.
Another one?
Missed 3 of his last 4 field goal attempts.
He's just teasing you guys.
He started 9 for 9 on the season, and he's missed 3 of his last 4. He's I don't know what it is.
Is he feeling the pressure under more scrutiny?
I don't know. Like if you're 9 for 9, I don't know. There's no pressure, right?
There should be none. Maybe that is the pressure that everybody on that 49ers team is very good at their job, and he's got one job.
Moody got the yips.
Does he have the Chuck Knoblauchs?
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
You know the yips? The yips?
I know the yips, but whatever you said. Never
There's a player who got the yips. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, his old Yankees second baseman.
Okay.
Couldn't throw the ball from second base to first base.
I had a friend. I have a friend who his dad was a Yankees pitcher one time. Well, actually, for like his career, for a while actually.
Was his name Moonlight Graham?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't even his last name. I don't know how to pronounce it very well.
Oh, Valdez?
Komoranek or something.
Kamenicki?
Might be from Michigan.
Yeah. Did you go to Oxford or somewhere?
Yeah, Clarkson. Yeah,
that's my boy. I think it's Caminiti.
Shout
his
out
son.
Alan.
I pitched against his son.
Yeah, Alan. Or
Yeah.
maybe it was Alan's brother. Yeah,
Something
shout
like
out
that.
Alan though, if
Stud.
he's watching.
Stud.
Yeah, his dad played for the Yankees. When I found out, I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. All right, here, let's get into it. Detroit Lions, screw the Yankees. We're talking about the Lions, baby. We're gonna break down 2 different things here, kind of all in one. We had them 2 segments kind of first off, but Brad Holmes. Injuries on the Detroit Lions. We're getting into the trade talk here. We're going to talk about, with all these injuries, everything going on. Really, too, not even like the defensive line doesn't really have injuries, but like this secondary, injuries are hitting them. Running backs, injuries are hitting them. Is it time, and I feel like it's a must right now, that Brad Holmes has to step up and make a move, and he has to go trade for someone. And like to me, it is a must. If we end up going, and I said it on the heavyweights, Easy asked me, he was like, if they don't make a trade at the deadline, are they still contenders? They are, but they go like right there to the very edge because you need another piece. And seeing the Eagles make another piece, I could put almost my whole life that the 49ers make some sort of move before next Tuesday. Lucas said it perfectly. Contenders make moves. Contenders are constantly looking around to make moves. How these guys do it, Broder. If you're a contender and you're a top dog, you are always looking to add at the deadline. It's like that in any professional sports league. When the deadline comes and you're looking to make a push, you add pieces. To me, and I don't know, did we put it in the chat already? Do you want the poll? 4 different things. This is what we're going to talk about: DB, corner, running back, defensive line, and the odd one out was kind of wide receiver. But those 3 to me, those are the top 3 to me. You have to find a way to get those done.
The wide receiver it's an interesting one too, because it involves Jameson Williams and confidence in him, both in the short and long term. So I don't think receivers should be looked past.
No.
But also, you said the 49ers might be making a move. They did go and get Randy Gregory from Denver to add to their already insane linebacker crew.
I'm sure they'll make another one.
Maybe they'll do another one. But they're the best team in the league. When they were undefeated, they were still looking to get better. I do think that Brad Holmes needs to make some type of move, and I think this Baltimore Ravens game confirmed it, or at least supplanted that. Dude, you got to do something.
Yeah.
I don't think Baltimore is 32 points better than Detroit, but I think we saw how much better they were, and we had no answer. We didn't have enough pressure on the defensive line. The cornerbacks weren't strong enough to stay with the receivers. With the defensive line not getting there, the linebacker crew, Derek Barnes, it was probably his worst game of the day, of the year, of the season. Nobody played well. And then on the offensive side, there was nothing that they could get going from the start. And it feels like they were playing catch-up all game, but they had no answer. I mean, Gibbs played well, but he got a lot of his in the second half, and there was no pressure.
Yeah.
You need someone to be able to answer in that first half. Ravens go down first drive and score. You need to be able to go and put that drive together right back and answer, or stop them that very next drive if you're going to go 4 and out.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I truly believe, I don't know, we haven't been in this position in Detroit to where you're buying at the trade deadline. I don't remember in my lifetime when we're sitting here we need to buy. So I don't know how many moves some of these teams make at the deadline, but I think that you should sit here and you should make 3 moves, and it should be a must. 1, whether you go and trade for a running back like a Delvin Cook, or you go and if you don't want to give so many, if you want to bring 3 guys in and you don't want to give a ton up for each guy, the Leonard Fournette or a free agent running back. Go bring some depth in that running back because you're going to keep getting these injuries. David Montgomery's he's shown it. He's been hurt twice already. In the playoffs, if he gets hurt, you're going to want a third guy.
And the Lions want to use him like they've been using him, which is a way that is an increased injury chances.
Yeah, and then the second one, this is the biggest one to me personally, is an edge rusher, defensive lineman.
Ding, ding, ding.
You have to go find someone. I know the heavyweights, and Nick did a reel for the heavyweights. I believe it was Brian Burns. I don't care who you get, Chase Young. I don't care who it is. I don't even care if it's like a big time star. I just want a very good edge rusher to complement Aiden Hutchinson. Go look at it. Go find something. Figure something out, Brad Holmes. Last one here is a corner. You need corner depth. You can't have Jerry Jacobs go down and get stuck. I don't want to shout out to Will Harris, but like he held it down for 2 games and you won. But obviously that third game caught up to you.
You had no chance
Caught up to him. Third game. You can't sit here and just play a Will Harris for 3 games out there when Brian Branch is hurt, Jerry Jacobs is hurt, and have that success. You have to go out and get another guy to where Jerry Jacobs can compete with. It sucks now that Mosley's out. Like that really did hurt.
But even before Mosley was out, you remember what they were going to do at the number 6 pick if he was there available then?
Devon Witherspoon.
They were going to go with Witherspoon. And other than the fact that they didn't address cornerback in that draft. They didn't address it in the rest of the draft. They brought in a couple undrafted free agents, Stephen Gilmore, Starling Thomas. So they brought in some guys, but they thought that cornerback was that much of a need, and then Devon Witherspoon was one of the best coming in, but like they thought it was enough of a need where they would have taken him at 6, but they haven't addressed it. So that's where my head goes. They're probably going to go cornerback first. I'm with the chat, and I think you probably too. They're at 79% say go for the defensive line. I'm there too, and I almost say get 2 pieces. I think they need more push up the middle. I think Ali McNeil's been great stopping the run, but he hasn't proven himself to get pressure and get sacks on the quarterback. He needs help. He needs another rusher alongside him. I'm not going to bring up the Jalen Carter, but you need someone who can make a difference like that or get that kind of push. Then you need an edge rusher to help out Aiden Hutchinson. Putting Charles Harris on the healthy scratch that Charles Harris was, that should tell you everything that's in Brad Holmes and in that coaching staff's need. He has been lining up on the other side of Aiden all year and just not able to win these one-on-one battles. You got to have someone, whether it's Chase Young, Justin Houston, somebody on the other side helping out Aiden Hutchinson, and then that helps out the cornerbacks too. So I think you get all 3 of them.
Can I give you a name?
Give me one.
We've talked about this before. Sue.
Yeah.
If you want it, you have to look at it as like some cheap pieces, because you can't go out there and just give up all of your draft picks. You can't go up there and give all of your future away.
Right.
So you have to figure out ways to add pieces without giving too much up. And if you have to go get free agents that are out there, things like that. So I'm saying like a suit. Like if you want to add 3 or 4 pieces, that's one of them. Corner, real quick.
Yes.
And I get why they didn't address it in the draft. If Witherspoon was there, he was a good enough prospect that you do that. When you bring in Mosley and Cam Sutton and you have Jerry Jacobs left there and you know that's your third, you're pretty confident.
Yeah.
You're not expecting a Mosley to go down. And you bring in these...
Well, Mosley went down. C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down. So Brian Branch can't play any cornerback. Will Harris can't play nickel.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
First thing you address, just go get another corner.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with that, too.
You can get a cheap one. Like it doesn't... I would love Patrick Surtain on the Lions, but it doesn't need to be him. You can go after the Panthers, who are still unbeaten, or they still haven't beaten anybody. They've got Dante Jackson and C.J. Henderson, who are on the block. C.J. Henderson may be cheaper, but they're both cornerbacks that are very versatile. They can play in Aaron Glenn's scheme. They also have Justin Houston, a veteran edge you may want to go at if you're not willing to go after Brian Burns. And even the Patriots, Jalen Mills, he's a cornerback. I am hesitant getting anybody from the Patriots because if they give people away, it doesn't usually turn out well. But this guy, Jalen Mills, he can play outside. He can play that slot nickel position or safety. So he seems like a player like that, if not him, a player like that fits Aaron Glenn's scheme that won't cost you a first and a second, maybe like Patrick Surtain.
That's my bit. There's been that conversation too, like Stephen Gilmore and giving some of these guys chances. And it's not that, I don't want to give them chances. I would love for those guys to get opportunities. But when you're contending, you want to have something more reliable to where is going to work.
Yeah.
And taking a shot on an undrafted free agent who was good in the preseason, has shown potential, but I would rather bring a guy in than just be like, hey, let's just replace Will Harris with another like an undrafted free agent.
Yeah. Use that 3rd round pick that you got for TJ Hawkinson. Like that's a valuable pick that you can use in the draft and it will be valuable, but might as well use that to go out and get somebody. But we're going to be talking about this a lot this week, but they need help on that inside.
Especially leading up into Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me tell you guys real quick. When we come back,
Hamlin Pub.
We will be talking, it'll be 9 o'clock, and we're going to be talking a little bit of overreaction Monday. It's going to be Detroit Lions overreactions, NFL overreactions. I've got a good list here, Broder. I did see your list as well, and that's a good one, too.
No Frank Clark, PA proud. No Frank Clark.
No Frank Clark. We're not doing that.
Stay out.
Hamlin, stay out. Yeah, we're not doing stay out right now. But have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. That is Hamlin Pub. Head over to Hamlin Pub, one of 7 locations, and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on Thursdays or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Make sure you visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Do you have football on the brain? Well, fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is already awesome. Fall is also the perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance, so shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you. So ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at SwissINS.com or call 248-800-4177.
All right, baby. Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Is the Woodward Sports YouTube network.
That's us.
Channel. I almost had that there. Welcome back, though. We appreciate you guys all tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Vikings are in the red zone right now, and Kirk Cousins just threw 2 bad passes. Shout out Kirk Cousins. Prime time.
Also, the Rangers are up 3-1 over the Astros.
4-1.
Top 4? 4-1. Bottom 3?
Vikings should go for this right here.
One of those.
Yeah. Coach Booner says go for it.
But 4th and goal?
You're playing the 49ers. You go for this.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing to lose.
You got nothing to lose.
Nothing. All right, let's do this here. Hit that like button if you guys haven't already. Share the stream with a friend. Tell someone about the show. NFL overreactions and Detroit Lions. I have 4 total. Actually, I have 5. I have 2 Detroit Lions and I have 3 NFL. So do you want me to start?
Yeah, give me the butter, baby. Give me the butter.
This is kind of what we talked about already. They kicked the field goal. That was stupid. This is what we talked about a little bit earlier already. Overreaction. Are the Detroit Lions still contenders? Is everything just fine? Are people overreacting? Are Lions fans overreacting? Or are we going to be okay?
They are over it. They are still contenders. So saying they're not contenders is overreacting. Saying they're contenders is
underreacting.
Underreacting is right on.
So the whole world is falling down on all these people, but they're just overreacting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my first. I think that was an obvious one to throw out there.
This is Super Bowl contenders, right?
Contenders to win it all.
To win it all. Gotcha.
Overreaction?
Yeah.
People saying that they're not going to do it?
They got moves to make, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions.
But they're still contenders. You don't think they are?
We are, but I just don't see it happening. Like, I think we're like...
So they are contenders.
Yeah, we're like bottom 4, bottom 5. But we're there, though, I guess.
Okay, so yes.
A little bit. I don't want to admit it, but I'm
so just kind of contenders?
I really want to say no. But I'm being nice because, it's you.
No, I want your honest opinion.
You can tell my voice.
Give it to us.
I don't think they're not contenders.
No,
man.
so it's not an overreaction.
I'm not going to.
We're a
So quit
playoff
asking.
team, but I don't think we're gonna do damage. So the Bucks could be a playoff team. Anybody could be a playoff team, but to compete and contend, we got some changes to make.
That's fair. Totally fair. I'm in the boat. I think you said earlier in the show, I expect them to win one playoff game, and to me that means they're contending for a Super
week
Bowl.
Weekend two, the second weekend, you're a contender.
100%.
You have a chance.
Then that was very similar to the one I had. Is it an overreaction to you? You're not worried?
No, not an
They're
overreaction. I'm
contenders
fine.
to you?
I think it is overreaction. People are overreacting. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
That one I can make that very confusing. I'm
How
sorry.
about
my brain works
this
different.
one? Is this an overreaction or an underreaction? Jahmyr Gibbs moves ahead of Bijan Robinson for Offensive Rookie of the Year after Bijan received one carry in a win over the Buccaneers, while Jahmyr Gibbs went off in a loss to the Ravens. Is that an overreaction?
I want to look here real quick. I don't think they have it.
Was he injured?
I want to see. No, he was not injured. I don't know what happened.
Apparently, he might have had a headache or something, but they knew that the day before. I don't know.
There
He got
were
one carry,
reporters-
but they won.
Reporters that were putting out there we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet literally big time reporters say I think it might have been Tom Pelissero or Ari Meirov that were
Pelissero's been wrong.
I think it was Ari. I think it might have been Ari,
Yeah.
and he's a friend of the program. He literally put out there and was like, I do not know what is happening. We have not heard anything.
So that is not an overreaction. I like it.
You think Jahmyr Gibbs should be ahead of Bijan in Offensive Rookie of the Year?
If you're taking odds, I like Gibbs' odds. He's going to get a boatload
I
of
didn't
carries
say
and
you were
touches.
taking odds. Is he ahead? Is he ahead of Bijan?
No.
I agree with you. Actually, I'll give my overreaction here in a minute. Ahead of Bijan in Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I agree. I think it's overreaction to say that.
Not ahead, but I think
he chipped away.
If I'm looking at the odds at the end of this weekend, I might take Jahmyr because remember what Alvin Kamara did week 5, week 6?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't start playing till he played, but he didn't start putting really numbers up until week 5, week 6. This Jahmyr game, Dan Campbell said it in the press conference last night, right after the game. I think we just saw something out of Jahmyr Gibbs that we've been waiting to see, or something like that. This opened up a door for Jahmyr Gibbs. I know it was in garbage time, but if you let a guy get a feel for it and kind of get his feet wet.
There is something to be said about getting a rhythm running behind that offensive line when the criticism from his coaching staff early in the year or from some teammates was that he needs to be a little more patient. Let some of those gaps develop. But I'm right with you.
He's learning.
I'm right with you and Nick. From an odds standpoint, you should probably go after Jahmyr. I just don't think he's done enough yet, or Bijan has done too little yet.
We're forgetting someone who probably wins it, actually.
Oh, they're probably someone. Oh, is it Zay Flowers?
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud. Yeah.
Samuel Potts is probably up there,
He's very
Potts
low.
has been great. Really?
What about Cody Mock?
I thought the same thing, but as a tight end, you're not putting up crazy. You're putting up numbers for a tight end, but.
All right, what's your next one?
Next one here. You guys already know this is one of my first NFL one. This is a big one. I actually texted you, Broder, and I was like, I don't want to do this, but I have to do it. My team that I've been very vocal on, I picked the MVP. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and they have been very bad the last 2 weeks. They've fallen to 4-3, and they lost to the New England Patriots. My second team, the Buffalo Bills. They are not a Tier 1 team.
Wow.
Trouble in
Moving
paradise.
out of Tier 1.
Trouble in paradise for Booner. That was my MVP. That was my Super Bowl in the AFC champion. Right now, they're not a Tier 1 team. Is that an overreaction, or are they still a legit Super Bowl contender?
Not an overreaction, Booner. The Buffalo Bills are not a Tier 1 team anymore. How do you feel about that?
Dude, that's terrible. I was hoping I would throw this out there and everyone would be like, Booner, you're overreacting. But this was the worst thing to happen with this Bills team. 2 weeks ago, we were talking Josh Allen MVP. Mm-hmm. That was brutal.
MVP.
Not an overreaction at all. The Bills look bad.
Yeah, that was rough.
Your Bills look bad.
Jaylen.
My Detroit Lions.
I quoted your tweet this morning, and I said they were struggling bad. You know what I mean?
They're down bad.
For you, Booner, this is it. This is Josh Allen's final year.
They're down bad.
This is Stephon Diggs' final year. If they don't make a run, it's over. And they can't beat the Patriots. They were up with a minute to go. I get it. Matt Milano, Von Miller, Trey White. I think who else is out? I think Mike. Somebody else is out.
Judon?
On the Patriots, yes. On the Bills, half their defense is out. But it's just how are you losing that game? And I feel like this is a year that if they don't win, someone's leaving, and it's probably going to be Diggs.
Things will fall apart.
Or coach.
Oh, yeah, he's on the hot seat.
That could end up a landing spot for good old Ben Johnson.
They might get a new coach. Oh, come on.
Can you imagine Ben Johnson with
what's your next
Allen?
one here?
My next one, overreaction or underreaction. Tyson Bagent should be the Bears QB, even if Justin Fields is healthy.
False. That's an overreaction.
Overreaction.
Yeah, it's still Justin Fields. As much as we all hate him, it's still Justin Fields. It's a pretty big deal. And at the end of the day, too, I think they're going to end up with the chance to get Caleb Williams, so you can move from Justin Fields.
Is that
Tyson
why?
Badger,
Is that why
what
you
he's
started
doing
him,
right
though?
now is he's playing himself into a really good backup spot, and
Good
to
for
be
him.
one of the better backups in the NFL, and you get paid doing that, like good money. So to go from D2, which I was at, to go from D2 to that,
Shepherd?
I think like West Virginia or something.
West
I think
Virginia.
that was a little overreaction.
Real quick, overreaction, Nick.
Overreaction. I do like what I'm seeing out of the quarterback, though.
Jaylen, overreaction or underreaction or nothing?
Overreaction.
Yeah.
Next one I have here, another NFL one. Pittsburgh Steelers are an actual playoff team, and they will make the playoffs. They're sitting at 4-2, and they have one of the best defenses in the NFL.
I'm not going to go with an overreaction. I'm hesitant because they have looked very bad this year, and I had them picked at the beginning of the season to be a sneaky pick. I don't even want to say they're
the Steelers.
I don't even want to say they're playing well, but they're built well.
They are. That defense helps them.
Yes, it does. So I'm going to go not an overreaction. Nick, Steelers win the division, go to the playoffs.
Overreaction.
Okay.
They beat the Rams. I don't think anybody in this room thinks the Rams are too special, but I did pick the Rams to win, so maybe I'm just a little salty that the Steelers did win that game. But I do not think that they are. I do not believe that they are a playoff team.
Jaylen?
Not even close. They may finish 9-8, but they're not a playoff team.
I love you boys, but you're both wrong. They'll be in the playoffs.
Just like your Bills.
Let me just.
Good one.
Facts.
They'll still be in the playoffs.
Let me just revisit our picks from Friday. It looks like, Nick, you picked the Rams to beat the Steelers.
Yeah, I did.
What happened?
I just admitted that on air.
Who won that game?
The Steelers.
All right, real quick, I'm gonna tell you guys about the Woodward Sports Lions post game show with Tom Mazaway and Sam Stigday. It is directly after every single Lions game on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you guys tune in all season long for the hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. Not yesterday, but going forward, there will be Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. I'm kind of going through withdrawals. I didn't have that big jug of Kool-Aid. So make sure you guys tune into that after every single Lions game on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Mr. Jugs, Booner.
Jugs, yes. All right, Broder, do you have another one?
I do.
I only have one more after this.
I got one more, too. This is from the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Risdon, who responded to a tweet. I don't know if this is his opinion or I believe he was just giving this to me as an overreaction option. But Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns deserves MVP love. What do you think?
I've been pretty vocal on it's hard for a non-quarterback to get MVP, but he has been good. And I've been very vocal that TJ Watt's the best defender in the NFL. Myles Garrett is better right now. Myles Garrett is
playing incredibly.
I said it on the pregame show, and then right after that, he went off and had one of the best games of his almost career. Like, that was insane what he did on Sunday. So, yeah, I'm going to say that he does deserve to be in that conversation. I'll throw that out there. I don't think that's an overreaction at all. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, too.
Good for you. I love that.
Can always learn,
Mr. Nicholas Detroit Mario Kohloff. Overreaction, underreaction. Myles Garrett deserves MVP love.
Underreaction.
Nice.
Yeah, underreaction.
Like, you're good with that. He does.
I love Myles Garrett. He's an absolute dog on that Browns defense, who I did pick the Colts to... I picked them to beat the Browns, too, if we're just going to
They actually kind of did beat the Browns. That was a weird ending to the game. Jaylen, Myles Garrett, you got love for him in the MVP race or nah? Overreaction.
Yeah, I can't get with it, man. I love what he's doing. Like, he had a hell of a game, this week, but
yeah, he's damn good.
Like, he's amazing, but I just don't think he's gonna get that.
All right, Booner, your last one.
All right, last one. I think this is going to be an underreaction all the way around. I think everyone's going to kind of agree with me on this, but as of right now, not as of right now, but this year, Patrick Mahomes will add his third season MVP. I think that's going to happen.
I think so. I think that's not an overreaction. To see what he and Travis Kelce did again As long as they're on the field together, it's so weird because Travis Kelce isn't the most athletic tight end of all time. I mean, he's an athletic tight end. They're unstoppable, and it sort of doesn't make any sense. But that's the power of having such a good rhythm and relationship with a teammate. They're both future Hall of Famers. I could see him getting his third. Lamar is going to be right there next to him, pushing him. I believe. What about you, Nick?
100%. My bad.
100p. Not over. We agree with you. Patrick Mahomes gets his third MVP.
Overreaction.
Not going to be him this year?
I'm being a little different today, man. If they finish, with this team that he has this year and they do great because this team is not one of his better teams, then yeah. But like you said, Lamar Jackson is, carrying that team too. So it'll be real close. But record-wise, I think he's going to lose it this year. But it's not far-fetched, though. Not at all. 100%.
I think Mahomes will win it.
Yeah, I just don't know who else gets it.
Lamar,
right now.
like Jaylen said.
Yeah, Lamar. I just think right now Mahomes is so far ahead, and if they just keep winning, him and Kelce, that is just.
He should get some consideration at this point.
Kelce, yeah. I was thinking that the other day, but tight end, because if the quarterback's throwing the tight end, the quarterback's probably doing pretty well.
But think about how much money he's bringing into the NFL with his girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, we're not talking about that. Let's say it real quick. Taylor Swift.
Though.
Let's just get it out in the algorithm real quick. True. Taylor Swift. Just for
the
algorithm. Yeah. Taylor Swift. We're gonna do that in our thumbnail tomorrow. Let's get Taylor Swift on there.
Great idea. Or would that deter everybody?
No, I think it'll just bring people in. I don't know.
Get the Swifties.
All right, let me tell you guys where Taylor Swift works out. That is Planet Fitness. It is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. That is at Planet Fitness. You will experience squeaky clean gyms that has tons of equipment.
Squeaky clean?
Yes, full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. That is, you get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness! Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
When it comes to your pet, dogs, cats, turtles, hamsters, whatever you got, don't settle. You just got to give your pet the best, and that's Premier Pet Supply. They're hands down the best pet store in Michigan. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. They have 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, and the lowest prices. Combine that with curbside home delivery. Craziness. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
.com. All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We're sitting here watching an NFC North game, and they're beating the 49ers. Crazy.
For now.
That means it's shown that the Detroit Lions can. So all of you SOL people about yesterday, take a seat. Sit down. Go back into your turtle shell.
About the birds, though.
Yeah.
The birds like the wings? The wangs? Like Hamlin Pup? Or the birds like the Eagles?
Gang, bird gang.
We'll get back to them. We're going to give every second we can to the Red Wings. Booner, set the stage.
Got a nice little segment for the Detroit Red Wings. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. But the Detroit Red Wings right now are one of the best teams in hockey, fellas. Well, how about this? The Lions are one of the best teams in football, or were before Sunday, and the Detroit Red Wings are 5-1, one of the best teams in hockey. I actually saw NHL power rankings from the Score that came out. Oh, I just needed a Christian McCaffrey touchdown. That came out, and the Detroit Red Wings were the 5th best team in the NHL right now. That is unbelievable, and I get it's a long season, 82 games. I get that, but to be able to say that they're kind of doing what the Yzer plan is starting to kind of hit the ground running right now is the best. On top of that, not just being the 5th in the NHL right now in the power rankings, DeBrincat, Larkin, they're 2 of the best players in the NHL right now. Jaylen, you want to throw up the first graphic of the points? Both of them. Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat are both 1-2 in the NHL right now. Hot damn! In points. They are leading the NHL. Look at that. It's not like it's just one of them that are just out there dominating. They are one of the best duos in the the NHL right now. And then to overturn that, Alex DeBrincat is the leading scorer in the NHL right now. And look at this.
Boom.
With 8 goals. And this team is hot right now, Broder. I've said it. I said it before the season. I put a Booner lock on it. I said the Detroit Red Wings are making the playoffs this year. That is no question at all. I'm going to save that part right there because Nick did ask me before he has a lock on that. We'll go to you in a second, Nick. He has a lock on that, and I placed it. That Booner lock there, it's a real thing.
It is.
And they're looking like it right now. They're looking the part. How do you feel so far about this Red Wings team?
I feel great. And just to answer your Booner lock, I was one of those that was skeptical. I didn't know if the playoffs, they were ready for that yet. If they needed one more year. I thought they'd be in contention to make the playoffs. But so far, they look great. There's a McCaffrey touchdown for everyone.
Let's go!
Betting on C-Mac. But the Wings, since dropping the home opener to the Devils, which they were tied deep into that third period, they've ripped off 5 straight wins and outscored their opponents 27-11. Their power play is great. Even yesterday against the Flames, all 6 of their goals didn't come on the power play. I think they were 0-5 on the power play. The things that they're doing, you pulled up DeBrincat and Larkin. They look great playing together. Having DeBrincat on that team, we could talk for an hour on DeBrincat, but just at its highest level, having DeBrincat on that team, on that line next to Dylan Larkin, I think is bringing out the best Dylan Larkin that we haven't seen in his entire career. He's turning into a playmaker that he had to be a scorer. He had to be the guy in the past. Now he can be both. Now he can dish the rock to DeBrincat. You can see his confidence come out.
You just see that in stars in every league, in every sport, is when you're sitting there and you have an elite player, but he's on his own. You see that all the time happen. And when you put him around another player that's elite and they have that chemistry together, it doesn't just make those two better, it makes a full team around them better. Mm-hmm. And you could tell everyone on this team is playing at a high level because of those two guys. And it feels like, to me, every single time I see a goal happen, like a DeBrincat goal, it seems like it's always set up from Larkin. Right. It feels like that every single time. I'm on socials at night, and I'm sitting there, and when I post if they score and I put the post up, every single time it's just like I can just put Larkin to DeBrincat. I can literally probably just save that text right there and just copy and paste it every DeBrincat goal. That's what it feels like right now.
It's crazy because that you put up those graphics and it's Larkin and DeBrincat at the top, but you made a comment. I forget exactly what you said about the team is playing better. Everyone's playing better. The Wings already have 14 different players with a goal and 19 with a point. That having not dissected every game, hockey's not my number one sport in terms of being able to analyze, strategies and stuff on the ice. You can see the play being picked up from everybody. It's really fun to watch. It's fun to see. And later I want to talk about this second line, but I know, Nick, you're itching. You're a season ticket holder or you're just a huge Wings fan?
Yeah, definitely just a big Wings fan. But I was there yesterday for the DeBrincat, his first hat trick as a Red Wing. It was crazy in there, and the fans are here for it. The Wings have been way too bad for way too long, and this is where I'm going to go with it. They have beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Ottawa Senators. Those are 3 elite-type teams, and they've already beaten them. So it's not like they're playing scrubs. And I'm going to say this right now, before it's too late. The Wings are plus 124 to make the playoffs. Take that number while you can. The Red Wings are 5-1. They look great. The dynamic duo is super hot, and it's going to remain hot the remainder of the season. Plus 124. Lock them in for the playoffs. Let's go, Boone.
I can guarantee you that moves in the next 2 weeks. that goes to minus money. I put it in before the show, and I know before the season, me and Nick were pretty heads on with saying that, hey, these guys are going to make the playoffs. This is a legit Yzerman. And you know what it comes back to as well? Do you guys remember the conversation we had when we first talked Red Wings and kind of broke down the season? Was how I think it might have been you, Broder, that mentioned some of these younger guys were getting moved down, and they weren't. And it was kind of like people were a little worried, like, oh, is that really like what's happening? What did I say? What? They're getting moved down because there's better players coming in this year. They brought the veterans in to surround this young core that they have. That's what you want, and that is what you want. Any sport, NBA, it's the same thing. Once the Pistons get that core, they're starting to surround guys with veterans, and you're going to see that. A lot of the Golden State Warriors, they have their core. They surround them with veterans. I think that's how it happens. I would say, like you said, NHL isn't my specialty, my cup of tea or whatever it is, but
cup of tea.
It's pretty much the same. I would like to get D-Mac on the show. I think I'm gonna ask if he wants to come on next week.
100%. But about these young prospects,
I would like to get him on to talk about this.
I agree with you 100% about now that team at the NHL level is made up of the best players. Those prospects at Grand Rapids Friday, William Wallander and Marco Kasper scored their first AHL goals. Kasper. Saturday, back-to-back games, Sebastian Cossa stopped 31 shots, while Cross Hanas scored his first goal. So they're starting to produce under the NHL level.
And what Tyler said here, they got depth on top of the DeBrincat signing. I remember a couple months back when there was the whole free agency opened up, I think it was free agency opened up, or the deadline was coming up, and I remember the day where Steve Yzerman just kept making moves, and he just kept bringing in veterans, and he kept signing people. I remember I was on socials with Lucas, and me and him, and we were working with kind of Gentry all together on it, and it was just like they just kept bringing guys in. It felt like every couple hours for like days on days, we just kept getting an alert. Oh, Yzerman signed this guy. He signed this guy. He signed this guy. And they were all veterans, and he just kept bringing dudes in. That's where you're starting to see this, and you're starting to see the depth kind of show. That's the sign of a good team. You have your guys, Mo Sider, Larkin, DeBrincat. You have your young core. Surround them with veterans that know how to win, and that's what's happening right now with this Red Wings team.
And that second line, they're starting to weaponize that. And I read a story, I believe it was in the Athletic, about that second line actually going to Derek Lalonde and requesting the matchup of Sidney Crosby and the top Pittsburgh line. And that's never a tough, an easy task for anyone to ask. But those guys, and I'm talking Michael Rasmussen, JT Compher, and Andrew Kopp. I believe Compher and Kopp played together at the University of Michigan. But they bring the toughness, the physicality, especially I think it's Compher. He's playing great. And Kopp, both of the guys being healthy, being on this team, being those second liners, they're taking pressure off of Dylan Larkin and DeBrincat. And that first line that you were talking about, it's I don't know. There's something special brewing. I don't know if I have my finger. I don't know if I can commit to them being, real contenders yet. But I don't really have a reason not to.
But I think it might have been on the morning show. They were talking about it and saying that right now it's at the point. I know it's 6 games in, 5 games, whatever it is. But oh my gosh, was that a Jordan Addison touchdown?
He drives fast.
I think that might be a second of the game. But you know what it is?
What?
It's you're not sitting there saying, "Oh, you're contenders," but you're not any longer just playing for the playoffs. You're playing for seeding. If you're this good, and you can consistently keep doing this, you're starting to play for seeding. You're starting to play for matchups and different things like that. If you look in the next couple of weeks, the next few games, Seattle, all right, Winnipeg, I think they'll beat Seattle tomorrow. Winnipeg, and then you go on the road and play Boston, one of the best teams in the league, right? Then you play the Islanders, and then right after that you play Florida, who was in the Stanley Cup Finals last year, and then you play back home versus Boston, and then right after that you play in New York versus the Rangers. So you do have a little bit of a stretch here. I feel like to kind of see what this team, like if this 5-1, like what are you boys about? And I do think they're going to come out of that positive. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, wow, I didn't realize the schedule coming up was so daunting like that. But that's why getting off to this hot start was so important, because it gives them some leeway to lose a couple of games, on the road. If they lose, 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, we're not going to overreact because we know this hot start and this team is there with it. And I'm just so excited to see a goddamn superstar on this Red Wing team.
Yes.
Seeing DeBrincat, last night at the arena, every time he touched the puck, you thought the puck was going in, basically, because it was. But everything, like something great happens every time that guy touches the puck. Whether it's a juke or like a deke, And his shot's just flat out ridiculous. He has like one of the best shots in the NHL.
I think I'm going to try and go to that Bruins game. I think it's next Saturday.
That sounds like a great one.
I'm going to try and go 7:30.
I know they play differently, but he reminds me of Sergei Fedorov. Like hearing you describe it, every time the puck's on his stick, you feel like something good's going to happen.
Are we going to the game?
To Boston?
Not in. It's in
at LCA. Boston? Yeah, maybe we will.
I'm trying to go.
Booner should go.
All right, yes, we've got some ads here.
Tell them about Guardian Alarm.
Guardian Alarm.
Like Mark Wahlberg.
Let me tell you guys about it real quick. It is Guardian Alarm, customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring calls any day or night. And know that a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. That is technology backed by people, where your safety and security matters, and where your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people have been proven to care, and it matters. Just like I said, make sure you call right here, 1-800-STAY
OUT. But since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience that they call the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's definitely a Feldman dealership near you. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. You might have seen the Morning Woodward Show and Big D Energy live there this morning. They will be there every other Monday. So check them out. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has been delivering Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. They got grab-and-go steaks, or you can order them online at fairwaypacking.com.
All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports YouTube and Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. That intro had a lot of Woodward in it, but shout out Woodward. We're on Woodward Sports, Woodward Nights. We are here doing the thing. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. What a good vibe music here from Nick. Haven't heard this one yet. Like it. But I did see in the chat, Easy is back. We told him 9:40, but it was actually 9:30. I messed that up earlier, but he's still back. We're talking Jared Goff now. And Broder, I want to set you up here with this. Let me just paint you a little bit of a picture, because when I put this segment in here, it was more so because I wanted to ask you your feelings on Jared Goff. I've talked to a handful of people already about Jared Goff and kind of where we stand on that. I have my own kind of thing in my head on this. I'll let you go though, but a few things with it. I think it's pretty obvious. Let's just the elephant in the room with Jared Goff. Outdoor road games in the cold, not his specialty. And we saw it last year, Carolina. We saw it New England last year, and now we saw it here today or yesterday versus the Baltimore Ravens. Struggled. The wind, I don't know if it was the wind that was bothering his ball or what it was. I watched some film in the back before the show, and Ryan Lentz was showing me some of his passes, flat-footed, and it didn't seem like it just seemed like he wasn't the Jared Goff we saw weeks before that.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And there were balls that were wobbly. There were balls that were thrown short.
Sweaty balls.
He just did not. There was just a lot of missed opportunities. It felt like at the start, especially, and this is the thing too that I wanted to really point out. We talk a lot about Jared Goff after he threw his 3 picks. He went and scored a touchdown right after, correct? It seemed like yesterday, every time he threw a bad pass, he did not respond.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview of him talking about after the game, whenever it was in Tampa or Green Bay, where he said, hey, when something bad happens, I like to respond, to give the team that feeling like, hey, if he responds, I can too. He did not have that yesterday.
No.
And he kept throwing bad passes after bad pass, and we will criticize him for that. Where is your stance on Jared Goff? Because you can't – I don't think anyone can sit up here and say – yeah, that's the $50 million quarterback we all want, or the $45 million quarterback we all want. I think there is a question about what happened yesterday. That is the biggest concern of Jared Goff, is what we saw yesterday. But there are the good things still, which I will not leave out.
Oh, yeah, I have 100% faith in Goff. But before I answer this, I need to, so no one puts words into my mouth, I need to understand what exactly are you asking. Are we talking contracts? Are we talking leading the team this year? I need more specifics before.
It's just more so.
There's a lot of setup there to put me in a bad spot.
No, I just want you to kind of go off of what happened in the game yesterday. And there's no really specific question. It's just, hey, where do we stand on Jared Goff? Even if it's contract or if it's this year or what it is. Because we know now what his biggest weakness was yesterday. We saw that. Is this something that the Detroit Lions were 1 in every 10 games, you're going to have to deal with that? And is that going to happen in a playoff run when you're sitting there playing in Philadelphia? Is he going to be that? We're going to get that Jared Goff, or are we going to get another good Jared Goff? Because if I'm paying my quarterback $50 million to go win,
which we're not yet.
We're not, but that's where the market is if I'm paying my quarterback $50 million to go win a Super Bowl, I expect him to be able to go on the road in the cold in Philly and win the game. And this is no Jared Goff slander for me, because me and Broder we've both been on the same page all year. Mm-hmm. But yesterday was a little bit of concern on, is that going to be a one-off, or are we going to be fine with Jared Goff, Broder?
Yeah, I think that's a one-off, and I think we're going to be fine with Jared Goff. I still believe that he's the perfect quarterback for this team, how it's structured this year with Ben Johnson, with all the pieces. Yes, you can use it as a counter-argument. He needs pieces around him. He needs a team to be built around him, but honestly, what quarterback doesn't? Jared Goff had a bad game. Everybody on that team had a bad game. I'm not here to defend Goff from his game yesterday, but I'm here to defend him as a player, as a leader of this team, because the quarterback is the leader. The Ravens are now one of 2 teams he's never won against, them and the Steelers. Never thrown a touchdown against.
Really?
So he struggled. He was under constant pressure all day. And I'm not using this as an excuse, but it was a difficult day all around, and he didn't make the plays. I'm not defending him there, but I do believe he's that guy for this team. It's set up perfectly, but he does need weapons around him. He does need his team to play well. The offensive line was depleted. We had no run game. All the difficulties were in front of him, and he played bad.
Do you know what
and he
actually
wasn't
yesterday
resilient.
reminded me of? We had this conversation last week when Neil talked about the Josh Allen and Jared Goff thing, and what was the thing that we both agreed on, we talked about up here, was the difference between like a Josh Allen and Mahomes that can kind of move in the pocket, get out, make plays with their feet. They can buy themselves their own time to go make that extra throw, or just
he doesn't have that.
Or just, and yesterday, that's, you know what? I don't even think it was the win. I don't think it was the cold. I think that's kind of what it was yesterday. And I'm going to go back and watch the game tomorrow during the day. It felt like when he was under pressure, in one of the plays that Ryan Lentz showed me, his feet were just stuck to the ground. And if you see like a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, they move out of the pocket, they start to run towards the sideline, and they give their receivers an extra 5-6 seconds to make a play. And that's something that feels like that's what Jared Goff is winning or missing. And you can win a lot of football games with him, but there's certain games to where if you get in a position like yesterday where your offensive line doesn't have they're not as great as they were. They weren't the second best offensive line in the NFL a little bit. That pass rush, that defense was elite. We already talked about the linebackers, and they're bringing pressure. How do you handle it? He didn't handle it like you would think, and that's the difference from a Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to him, and that's, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't have the ability to improvise and escape.
That kind of worked out. We had that conversation last week. And Neil talked about that. And like that, here's the game film. This is why he's not the Josh Allen level to give him 55.
100%. And I believe Josh Allen's more talented, but he's not as accurate as Jared Goff. He turns the ball over more. There are give and takes to their games and what they can bring to the table or what they can't. But
I would like to know what Ed in the chat said. Booner wrong. We both agreed up here, Ed. I think it's just a fact that Jared Goff doesn't have the mobility and the ground game that these other guys have that buys these guys more time. And you saw it there that Jared Goff under pressure, he has to get the ball out quick because he's not moving out of the pocket, and he throws the ball short. He has a wobbly pass. He makes an inaccurate throw. That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a fact. That's why that offense had so many 3-and-outs was the first 3 or 4 possessions, Jared Goff just didn't make the throws that he was making the weeks before.
100%.
And it was because of the pressure, and maybe it was because of the weather, but that was just what that was. Couldn't establish the run game. Jared Goff wasn't playing like he did the last 16 weeks.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't know if Easy was sending a message with the MVP statement. I never, not once, has said he's a front runner to MVP. He should win the MVP. I talked about being in the MVP conversation, being top 5, and although I think he probably slid out of that after that performance, I still expect him to be in that top 5 conversation at the end of the year. Nothing's changed for me on that front. So I still have a ton of confidence in Jared Goff, and I think the Lions do too. And I think that will carry them.
I don't think you're wrong saying that there's a potential, because when I did the pregame show here, everyone in the room convinced me to put an MVP bet on him, and it was because I wouldn't do that unless there was any type of chance him to be in that running. Obviously, yesterday took him out of being able to win it, in my opinion, because you have a guy
in the season.
Yeah, because you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes who he's not going to do have a dud performance like that. That's the difference that we talked about. Like, it just keeps coming back to that conversation last week. Me and you, I feel like everyone agreed on it, where he's not that Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes type quarterback, and it is okay. You can win a Super Bowl with a guy like that. People have done it. You just have to. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
But he is a great quarterback. It was just, you're going to get games like yesterday when you don't have a tier 1 quarterback. That's going to happen.
You know who we didn't talk about in the injury segment? Jonah Jackson. That's a bigger loss, losing him, especially in the run game. Not as much in the pass game, although he's a very good guard in the pass game. He's elite in the run game, so that's a big loss. Nothing against Graham Glasgow and Halapulavati Vaitai. That is a big loss, and they need Jonah Jackson back to go up against the Eagles, the 49ers, the Cowboys, to go up against the Ravens, the good teams. You need that offensive line at full force.
You do. And Ed in the chat, Ed, I'm going to say what Jeff says all the time. Open up your ears, listen. I clearly said that Jared Goff didn't. The offensive line did not play up to the level that they usually do, like the number 2 offensive line that they are. They struggled. It was very known. If you go watch the game back again, they did not have the best game. Jared Goff was under pressure all night. He was. But to that fact, he's not one of those guys that can move out of the pocket and make those plays. He can sometimes, but if your offensive line's not playing at that level all night that you're used to, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't know if anyone thinks they need to add an offensive lineman.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but
that'd be kind of
they
crazy
need to make sure that they have a run game with Jared Goff as your quarterback.
Hey,
Nothing wrong with that.
Broder, quick question. Any word on Jonah's injury?
Nothing new today. We'll find out. Actually, they're off tomorrow. We'll find out more Wednesday. The fact that he sat out the Ravens game means it's probably more serious than, like, he wasn't just taking the game off to rest up for next week. My gut's telling me he's gone through the bye week and maybe comes back against LA. We'll see.
Sounds good.
We'll find out more.
Monday.
We will find out
tell
more.
us about Mark White when we come back. We're going to talk about the coaches. Coaching staff.
Yes. When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. So sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? Well, that's exactly what you can do with Mark White & Associates minute-by-minute listing agreement. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. Again, that's markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Just in time for football. Glorious. Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check us out online at www.gloriouscanada.com.
One of my favorite reads of the day. I love Nick's glorious reads. Check them out. All right, welcome back to Woodward Sports Network and Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. We're heading down the stretch here. We have this segment here, about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we have mailbag to end it. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Tell a friend about the show. This is kind of a little weird segment. Not weird, but to end us off here with this Lions talk in this Sunday game, Broder. After this, I feel like we're going to actually talk probably a lot of what can they do kind of moving forward the rest of the week. But this Detroit Lions coaching staff, we heard Dan Campbell come out and say, hey, we're gonna take this one on the chin, we're going to move on, and we're going to learn from this. Do you trust this staff? And there's a lot of guys on this coaching staff. I know you are in Allen Park all the time. I trust almost every single one of these. I love the coaching staff Dan Campbell built. Confidence level 1 to 10 on if these guys all turn them around to say, hey, let's go on a 5-game winning streak now.
I'll take it up a notch. Who was that? Emeril Lagasse? Bam! I actually trust this team because of this coaching staff. I trust this team more because of this coaching staff. From top to bottom, the talk has been about having former players that are able to communicate more effectively with the team, with the actual players. But the interesting or the significant part about those former players who are now coaches, they've experienced this all before. Like, this isn't new to them. They've been blown out. They've been on bad teams. They've been on good teams. They've won Super Bowls. They've lost in Super Bowls. They know how to respond, or at least they know how to get into the heads, get their guys to respond. Whether it's Kelvin Shepard coaching the linebackers in the pass rush, whether it's Antoine Randall getting the wide receivers ready to go, whether it's Mark Brunell working with Jared Goff and making sure he doesn't have another game like that. They've got it all over the field. Dre Bly, the cornerbacks coach, they've got these players all over the field that are their coaches, and I'm not worried about them. I expect them to get their guys ready to go Monday night. We're going to learn a lot about the coaches by how ready this team's able to play Monday night against the Raiders.
Yeah, Dan did mention it. I already said it earlier in the show. He did mention, I have this feeling of being like that competitive feeling to where I hate losing games like this. And when we lose a game like this, I know the coaching staff, the players, all of these guys are going to feel that. So I do feel that. There is this thing, real quick, Jaylen, the graphic there, Kelvin Shepard put on his Instagram story. And this right here kind of gives me that this is what shows that this coaching staff is like that. He put on his story today, this game builds character, take it on the chin, get your, back to work.
I love that.
This is the staff that you have. A guy like Kelvin Shepard, I love Kelvin Shepard, follower of Woodward Sports. That man, he said it perfectly. And I think that's what the whole staff, everyone, whether it's a wide receivers coach, DBs, linebackers, tight ends coach, whoever it is, they have that mindset. And I think, you know what it started from? The way Dan Campbell has built that culture, and I think it just kind of bleeds all the way down. So I have trust. Is there anything else with this coaching staff that you have? I know you're around them a lot more than I am. You kind of know some of these guys more so. Being able to speak with them.
No, I think we hit on it all. The coaches are great. They're former players, so get them ready to go. But that message, I tweeted out again yesterday after the game, and Kool-Aid actually made a social graphic for it. He said, many of us are going to have to wear this one. I sure am. I drastically underestimated Lamar Jackson and the Ravens team. They really stuck it to the Lions. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that's how I finished. The 5-2 Lions are still a good football team, though, onward. Just like Kelvin Shepard said,
there it is.
Take it on the chin and get your butt back to work.
Yeah, I think that's simple. I think that's a perfect way kind of to close out the Loser Monday.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about it throughout the week. Like, obviously, we're going to break it down more. We're going to talk about the Raiders probably starting on Wednesday a little bit and Thursday. But I think that's a good way to close the kind of this show out with that. Everything's going to be just fine. Coaching staff has control of this. Dan Campbell, you've seen him start 1-6 and finish 8-2. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to kind of regroup a team. He knows how to turn things around. Yesterday was such a one-off to me, and I don't think you're going to see this team. If they lose another game, whether it's now or it's in the playoffs, I don't think you're going to see this team get blown out again.
No.
Don't see it happening. I think even in the playoffs, you play a 49ers, Eagles team, I don't see this team going in there and losing by 30 again or 20, whatever it is.
Maybe they lose, but it's not going to be a blowout like that. They will be ready to go. So come on back for mailbag.
Yes, mailbag. Real quick before we finish it, do this last read. Let me tell you guys. I'm going to tell you guys about the Lions pregame show. We didn't do the Lions pregame show yet. I'm going to tell you guys about it. Make sure you guys tune into that before every single Lions game. Sundays, 9:30 to 11:30. This Monday, it will be directly before the game, probably 2 hours right before the game. I believe last week we did 6 to 8. So make sure or last time we did Monday, we did 6 to 8. So make sure you guys tune in for that. For all of the breakdown of the game, injuries, anything you need to know, tuning into the game. Make sure you guys tune in with Jeff Ifrady, Hollywood. I'm usually on that show, and a special guest next Monday as well. Nick, tell us about the Academy of Warren, baby.
And at the Academy of Warren, they have a brand new state-of-the-art Sports Zone field house. Has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field. Also can be used for 7-on-7 football. With grades K through 8 that features AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, a futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and K through 8 athletics. They are now accepting new enrollment. Go to academyofwarren.net.
Woodward Sports own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Ifrady, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
All right, let's talk about it real quick. It is Outdoor Equip Co. We wanted Woodward Sports, the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, style handhelds, and even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, generic generators, Snow X plows and salters. Listen, Outdoor Equip Co., they have it all. Literally anything you need. You can buy it, you can rent it, 0% financing, delivery right to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com. Make sure you guys check them out. You see it right there, OutdoorEquipCo.com. All right, we are back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. My name is Booner. Joined as always, Matt Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter. Jaylen in the TD booth. Nick in the sound booth. We've got a full crew here. Final stretch here. Mailbag. Make sure you guys get all of your questions in. If you have literally anything you want to ask, we will answer 95% of them. We'll try and get through them all here.
This one isn't a question, even though it's under mailbag, but he's the dude. Freddie Felt 313 says mailbag. Time for the fans to show up and be louder than ever for this team next Monday.
Yes.
Thanks, fellas. Let's go.
I agree.
Right under it, though, Paul Thomas says mailbag. Can we beat good teams with mobile quarterbacks? That's been our Achilles heel. That is a very valid point.
I mean, the three tough... Patrick Mahomes right away this year.
Leading rusher in the Chiefs against us.
Geno Smith, who ran around everywhere. And Lamar Jackson.
And again, we got 2 more games left.
Lost 2 of those 3.
Justin Fields, 2 more games coming up. Jordan Love has a little bit of wiggle.
Already beat Jordan Love, though.
What?
Already beat that man.
Right. I'm saying, like, the schedule, the remaining schedule, even consider Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott a little bit. Like, there are some mobile quarterbacks on there. I sure hope so, Paul Thomas.
This one, William Vanderswag. Do you think
William
Jared Goff
from Grand
will
Haven.
build chemistry with Antoine Green, number 80, during the season? What do you think about that, Broder?
I hope
It's a
so.
you question.
I hope so. I don't know if we're going to see much of Antoine Green this season. He did get some time this yesterday, Sunday. I don't know if that was just because Marvin Jones Jr. was out and he was sliding in. Antoine Green, he's some guy that he's making strides in practice. Just don't know if he's ready yet. But at the same time, other than Khalif Raymond, he's your home run hitter in that wide receiver room. So he showed in preseason he can take one to the house. So I hope they start getting him involved. We'll see maybe this trade deadline. If they go after a wide receiver, it means they're not ready to give that role to Antoine Green yet. How about that?
I like that. That's a good one. Let's see.
Scott Stepp, mailbag 1 to 10. I heard you say Scoot, and I think it got in my head. Mailbag, what would a 49ers loss to Minnesota mean for the 49ers? Contenders, pretenders, or just giving them the same treatment as the Lions?
Well, to be honest,
wait, that I started saying Scott Stepp, but that was Steve Lehman's question. It moved on me. I'll get you to Scott right after this. But that question that Steve Lehman asked.
Yeah, to me, I still feel like this 49ers team, I could be wrong, I still feel like they're like the best team in football. They have such a good football team. I don't know who to put number 1 right now, but I don't know what that would mean. That's I don't think they're not pretenders. That's a team that can go win a Super. It's the best team in football.
Yeah,
it's just kind of crazy to see it. They're kind of struggling. I don't know if it's Debo out, Trent Williams is out, so there's things like that. But I don't know. It was I went in today thinking when I was going to do my power rankings, 49ers number 1, and this is kind of changing things up a little bit.
I definitely think they're still contenders. They're not pretenders in terms of contending, but maybe they're pretenders in terms of being the number 1 team in the NFL by such a long shot. We'll see. Where did you go, Scott Stepp?
He said, "What is your Scott?" He said, "What is your on a scale of 1 to 10? How confident are you the Detroit Lions win on Monday Night Football versus Raiders?" I'm going to say 11. They do not lose this game.
Perfect.
They will not lose this football game.
They better.
Coming
not.
off a loss like this, they will not lose this game, especially at home.
I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9, but I'm going to follow it up from a question IT Hips asked mailbag. If the Lions lose to the Raiders, would you be worried? Just worried with the rest of the season?
If they do, yes.
That would be tough.
The Raiders are not good.
If you lose to them at home on Monday Night Football in front of the nation, wearing your alternate helmets on Lomas Brown night, that would not be a good look. That would be everything people were saying after the Seattle loss. That might surface again and would make some people start thinking, what is this team?
Would be an absolute disaster, Broder.
Disaster.
That'd be, especially after the Ravens then losing this. Oh, don't even put that out there.
I know.
We're winning by 50.
I think he's supposed to be back.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your guy. That's both of your quarterbacks going head to head.
Battle of the dead arms.
Both of your guys, though. Both of your winners.
This is a game. If you're a hunter, not Daniil, although maybe he wants to join. If you're a hunter, see all the wobbly ducks up there. You can shoot, play duck hunt.
I want to see something real quick.
But what do you guys think? I'm pulling this out of nowhere. Should Devontae Adams and Max Crosby just stay in Detroit? Like, should they just switch locker rooms?
Ooh.
Yes.
Just instead of going to the visitor locker room, like,
oh my gosh,
slide on over.
That was going to be. I just remembered that was going to be one of my overreactions, and I didn't put it in my prep because I thought about it at like 8 a.m. this morning. Was Devontae Adams would be on a different team next Tuesday?
He better.
I think he will be.
He can't play with Jimmy Garoppolo. He needs to go with.
He's on a different team Tuesday.
Buffalo.
He better not come to the NFC.
Please go to Buffalo.
I don't think.
Please go to Buffalo.
I think the Lions would be the only team that it makes sense to spend that kind of money on him.
I'd do it.
Devontae is the best.
Paul Thomas said JMO for Devontae Adams.
I ain't going that far.
I still have faith in J-Mo.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
We're going to... Yeah, straight up.
I would do that straight up in a heartbeat.
Full State Farm says if the Vikings win tonight, they are not trading Danielle Hunter.
Is that like a thing they've announced?
No, that's what he said. He just was saying that. I mean, I guess if you think about it, you're 3-4. I mean, the Lions are 5-2, so they're a couple games back. But I'd still think they would. They're still falling apart a little bit. I don't know. Right. Am I wrong on that?
No. I think if you're going to be I don't know what they believe. I don't think they believe in themselves. At least they shouldn't. They need some more pieces. So I don't know. Might as well, if you can get something back. If I were them, I wouldn't trade him to the Lions. How about that? I would love for the Lions to go get Danielle Hunter, but I don't know what they would be thinking, putting an elite pass rusher in conference.
Imagine this game next week, Raiders, and like right before the game starts or something, they're like Brad Holmes is just working a deal with the Raiders GM, and like before the game starts, like, oh, Max Crosby's a Lion. He probably wouldn't play that night, but he's in Detroit already, and he's at his own new home. Like, he's literally like, they land, game hasn't even started yet, and they're like,
here's a helmet match.
Breaking news: Adam Schefter, Max Crosby has been traded to the Detroit Lions.
I'll break that news.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my guy.
Matthew Broder.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I went national media.
No, you're good. Adam Schefter's the dude.
Shout out Tom Pelissero for messing that up. Shout out to the
I got
local
receipts from
reporters.
That. Yes. Adam Schefter did go to Michigan. Big Wolverine fan.
Hey, we appreciate you guys all tuning in here. Oh, my gosh. Jordan Addison almost got a third one. Make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports channel. We're at 53.7 thousand. 300 away from 54. Almost to 55. Make sure you guys tune back in tomorrow. Woodward and Maine will be at 7 a.m. Morning Woodward show, 8 a.m.
Hours.
All of the shows to follow, and we will be back tomorrow, 8 to 10 p.m. Appreciate you guys all tuning in.
Come and
see you
find
guys
me.
tomorrow at
Nemo.
8 p.m. Love you guys.
Toodles. G.